everyone, and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. Today we're looking at Johanna Basford's How to Draw Inky Wonderlands. This is her brand new book. It hasn't yet been released, but it is up for pre-order, so I'll leave the links in the description below if you want to go ahead and secure yourself a copy. So I have this book early as a blogger's bundle, which was sent out to me alongside some of Johanna's favourite drawing tools. So she sent some pigment liners, some pencils, an eraser, and a few little bits and bobs to go with them, just to get started on how to draw. But if you don't have any of all that complicated kit, you don't need it. Don't worry about that. As long as you've got a pencil, a rubber and a pen, you'll be absolutely flying. So you don't need anything special to go alongside this book. Get yourself a simple graphite pencil, an eraser and some sort of fine liner and you'll be off. So How to Draw Inky Wonderlands is a brand new venture for Johanna. Obviously we know her for her colouring books, her fantastic colouring books, and this is basically Johanna sharing her secrets of how she draws in her beautiful, very individual and unique style. And she's showing you how to do pretty much everything that you've seen throughout her previous colouring books. We're going to see flowers, we're going to see boats and animals and leaves and branches and ocean stuff and forest stuff and all sorts. So she's basically giving away all of her secrets, but she is totally cool with that. She is really on board for everybody to learn how to draw, and if she can help you, she is more than willing to do so. So massive props to Johanna first of all for bringing this book out and for being our teacher. So I cannot draw at all. And I always get shouted at for that when I post something on Instagram when I say I can't draw. And all of you lovely guys always tell me, everybody can draw, you can draw, blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel like I can draw. But this book has given me a little bit of confidence to possibly learn a few little tips, tricks and methods to get me well on my way to drawing. So let's have a look at the book. The front cover, this is the US edition by the way, has a blue background to the title here. If you have the UK edition, you'll have a pale pink background instead of the blue. So that's how you know the difference. So if we look on the cover and tilt it in the light, you'll see that there are a few different areas that are embellished with gold foiling. And then on the back, we have a simple matte cover, completely monochrome, and just a little bit of the blurb about the book. So yes, this is the US edition with the blue, UK edition with the pink. If you want to know all the differences between the two versions, by the way, look out for Lucy's comparison video, which I believe will be coming very soon. She's in the midst of madness, or colouring in the midst of madness, on YouTube. I'll leave a link again in the description for her channel, and she always does a really comprehensive review and comparison of both books together. So this is the inside cover. We've got French flaps, and you can see that there are some colourable images on the flap itself, and then underneath you've got this whole colourable pattern as well. So you can basically colour everything in this book. It's not just about drawing. I think Johanna's anticipated that some of us might be feeling a little bit daunted by the prospect of drawing our own images. So she has included tons and tons of colouring material in this book as well. So don't worry about that. We've then got the title page here, and then the copyright detail page. Again, something to colour on every page. You've also got your book belongs to nameplate. As you can see, Johanna has actually drawn my name in there and signed it for me, which I'm always super excited about. It's lovely to have that little bit of personalisation. And then we have the introduction. So this is a few words from Johanna saying that she's more than happy to share her secrets with you, that drawing isn't a talent that you're born with, it's a skill that you can learn and master. She's saying that she's living proof at that because she was never the best at drawing in her class, can you believe? But she is showing you step by step in this book how to create illustrations, walking you through all the methods, and once you've mastered the basic formula, you can then try changing up little bits like leaves and petals and modifying it to your different style. So it's sort of learning the basics, the foundations, and then customizing it. We've then got a few tips from Johanna here, so telling you to practice first, obviously, practice makes perfect. Pencil first, then ink. Johanna never ever draws in pen straight away. You have to begin in pencil, and then you can always erase any bits that you're not happy with and finish in ink. test your materials. She's got some test pages at the back of the book to test all the different things. She is telling you about recommended materials on the next page, saying to have fun, and just, you don't have to go from beginning to end, just you can just pop into the book at any point and just do a little doodle. And yeah, so we've got johannabasford.com how to draw. That's a few more blog posts and downloads that you can find for the book. So here we go with her favourite materials. So she likes to draw on layout paper, which is a very, very thin and very smooth paper. Telling you about pencils, so you can use a 0.5 mechanical pencil, or as I've said, just use any random pencil you can get your hands on. There's no fanciness here. As long as you've got a pencil and a pen, you'll be fine. She uses a 0.2 fine liner mainly, and she obviously uses a sharpener. You can have mechanical ones, but she does say that the cheap little silver ones that you get oftentimes in supermarket pencil sets are, you know, just as good as anything else. Again, you don't need to spend money. An eraser, obviously, colouring pens and pencils if you want to get in there and colour what you've drawn. A compass is the easy way of drawing circles, or you can get yourself a template like this. I got this from eBay or Amazon. It's a circle template, and then I also found this in a charity shop. This is a knitting pin gauge, and it's really, really good. It's made out of metal, it's really strong and sturdy, and it's awesome for doing the little tiny circles that you find sort of in the centre of flowers and things like that. So, you know, you don't need any top-notch tools, believe me. Tracing paper or baking paper, if you've got that in your kitchen, that's what I used. You know, again, and things you can find around the house. And then there's some graph paper as well. She's saying that you can use this as a grid to help you line up your images and things like that. So this book is split into 3 different sections. The first one is garden, as you can see, another double page for you to colour, possibly add some bits here in the blank area. And the first tutorial that she's showing us are the blooms. So this is something that I've already been working on in my sketchbook, which I have here. You will have seen this. Hang on, that's not the one. I have so many different books and I'm never prepared. No, I don't have it down here with me at the moment, do I? No. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see. I've been working on a few of these different flowers. I'm really, really happy with how they've turned out. This was one of the pages that was in the little preview booklet that got sent out. And it's really, really simple. I mean, you look at these beautiful flowers and, you know, well, me certainly, personally anyway, I looked at them and thought, no, you know, there's no way I can draw them as beautifully as this. But my images turned out really, really well. So anyone can do this. Believe me, I cannot draw at all. And I'm really pleased with how mine did. So the next page is leaves. And as you can see, we follow a kind of standard format throughout the book for the step-by-step instructions. So you start off with your first step here. This is just one line. Second step, she adds the next, and the previous line is greyed out. So you can always see in each step with the black heavy line what your next mark should be. And then finally, you get to step 5. And this is in black, as you can see, and that's because it's the inking stage. So everything up to step 5 should be done in pencil, and then you finish off in your ink, adding little details. So that's how to do lots of different types of leaves. Here she's showing you how to arrange those leaves into a circular garland. So you learn the basic method, and then you can, you know, turn them into whatever it is you want. Next, we've got botanical borders. So this is draw some swirls, add some tiny stems, leaves, berries and flourishes. Small circles, add 2 petals, 2 more, some leaves, a wobbly stem, the other side of the stem to make it a 3D sort of image, and then more leaves. And then on the bottom here, again, a little step-by-step of how to do some different types of flowers on your borders. And then in the centre, you've got this huge area for you to practice on. So you don't have to practice in the book if you don't want to. I know a lot of you will be concerned about ruining it. I just dove straight in because, you know, it's there to have fun with. And if it doesn't go right, it doesn't go right. To be honest, it doesn't bother me that much. Throughout the book, she scatters little tips and tricks for you. So it's saying to rotate the petal position so your flowers aren't all exactly the same. Just give a little bit of randomness in there. Next up is posies. So these 3 simple little flower and leaf posies are easy to draw and very pretty, perfect for embellishing a handwritten letter or doodling on a notebook. And then of course you can follow these steps and then mix it up, put all different petals on different centres, and just go for it really, just have fun. Fill this magical garden with beautiful blooms and then bring it to life in colour. So you can compose this sort of double page spread with your pencil first and then ink it in when you're finished. So you can decide which flowers are going to go where, tall flowers, smaller flowers, larger blooms, and obviously across the bottom we've got a few different styles for you to pop in there if you wish. We've then got the bouquet. So the trick here is to overlap the blooms and have flowers peeping out behind petals so you create a feeling of depth. So usually when I draw a flower, it's a circle in the middle and then petals all the way around, sort of separate and individual from each other. But apparently the trick is to overlap those petals to make it look more interesting to the eye, I guess. So we have another beautiful colouring page here, and of course you can add your own little embellishments and details to it if you wish. Inky insects. So we know that Johanna often likes to put little ladybirds and dragonflies in her drawings. So here is how she does them. We've got a dragonfly, we've got a beetle, a caterpillar. This could be a bee, I guess, or some form of, yeah, it's got to be a bee, hasn't it really? And a ladybird. And then you can add your insects into this image that she's drawn for you. Flowers. So these are simple stemmed flowers. If you did the flower challenge, I think it was it 30 days of flowers, something like that Johanna did not long ago, where you drew 1 flower every day. These are ones that you'll probably recognise from that challenge. So this is a super skill, it's symmetry, and it's how she creates her symmetrical motifs. And often people think that you do this digitally and you just flip and reverse and rotate and things, but there is a simple way to do it, a very analog way to do it, as Johanna would say, and that is using your tracing paper or your baking paper. And as you can see, you would draw one side of the image, like the side of the heart, then you would turn over your your tracing paper and make it symmetrical. So it's teaching you how to do that. Obviously I'm not going to go through every single step of how to do it, but now we have butterflies. So another thing that you can draw with very, very different wings, lots of different styles you could do. As you can see, there are lots of different wing shapes and sizes and things you can practice on, and then you can add your colour. This is a spherical motif, and she shows you exactly how to plot out each position of each flower, and basically you can just do it however you want and have fun with it. So you can see you can put a few different blooms on the outer edges of the circle and leave the rest blank. Sort of looks a bit like a pond with some flowers settled on the top. You can have 3 large blooms like this. You can make it out of vines, or you can make it out of loads of tiny little posies. Floral garlands. So again, we had the little garlands earlier, but this is more embellished and showing you how to add lots of different flowers and blooms on there. I really like this one. It's quite unusual, isn't it, with these little hanging blooms. We have the symmetrical crest. So again, using your tracing paper to create a beautiful symmetrical design that looks very, very clever, but it's quite simple. Here she's showing you how to create patterns. So she's saying that computers have a fancy way of designing an exact repeat pattern, but you can create them by hand too, showing you exactly how to do that. And here is a pattern that she's created for you to colour. The next, it's very, very thick paper, by the way, I'll come on to that in a moment. The next section of the book is the ocean section. As you can see, we've got another load of fish for you to colour, another page that you can colour in and then add your own bits to. So this is Go Fish, and it's that fish was quite high, sorry, Go Fish. When drawing fish, I always use my fishy formula: body, tail, fins, then details. And then she mixes and matches different shapes and patterns to create an infinite variety of fishes. So you can see we've got loads of different patterns here, loads of different body shapes and sizes, and we've got an area for you to practice. So the basic format of the book, as you can see, is tutorials and step-by-step on the left and then practice page on the right. Ship ahoy! So here you can see for the first time something that I've attempted inside the book itself. This is showing you how to master the basic formula of boats or ships, and then how to customize it to your liking. So across the top we've got a 4-step boat and another across the bottom, 2 different styles, and I, as you can see, have drawn both. And this was just a blank swatch all the way across apart from the little bottle there, and I drew and coloured both of these. This is the one that I drew on a live stream, so if you want to see me draw and colour this in real time, pop back through my videos and have a look at the live stream. But again, really pleased with how they've turned out. They're not picture perfect, they're not, you know, digitally accurate, but they're cute and wobbly, and it's an awful lot better than I could have done on my own. So here we've got more fish, and this time they're completely blank and they're rather large as well, and that's for you to practice different patterns. Maybe if you're into Zentangling or doodling, just have fun with it. I keep saying have fun with it, and that is the main thing for this book for me, is just to have fun and give it a shot. So seaweed tangles, this is how she created all those beautiful different collections of seaweeds in the Lost Ocean colouring book. We then have treasure, and as you can see, I've drawn in some treasure here. This across the bottom is Johanna's work, and these 5 are mine. So I've just attempted to draw one of each of the treasures, and again, you know, wobbly lines, not perfect, but I'm really pleased with it. And you know, for a first go, I think that's pretty testament to how, you know, broken down and well explained the tutorials are. Flotsam and Jetsam, these drawings are perfect for adding a touch of nautical charm to invitations, greeting cards or treasure maps. So we've got here an anchor, a compass, a ship's wheel, a padlock and skull and crossbones. Now these you'll have recognised from the beginning of the book when we saw those little French flap drawings. And I really like these. It's almost like having a tiny little ocean world, like a little terrarium. That you can just draw very quickly. You don't have to draw a whole page worth of stuff. You can grab a sketchbook very cheaply from, you know, anywhere and just mess around with all of these different patterns and contain it so it doesn't feel too overwhelming. We've then got crabs. So you can see we've got the basic body of the crab, and then adding on all of the different sections of the legs and things. So you can also use the technique for drawing spiders, apparently. And then here's another little piece for you to draw inside and colour. Ocean pattern. Johanna calls this a mega doodle. You start small and then let your barnacle inspired pattern grow to fill any space. So you can see this bit here is something that was in Lost Ocean. It was a whole page full of these little tiny barnacles, and I've seen it coloured so many times so beautifully, but it's too scary for me to attempt. It's a lot to take on, but I think it'd be quite fun to actually draw it rather than colour it. Maybe colouring would probably just require too much thought and effort, but I think drawing, you know, just doodling repeat patterns in there might be quite mindful, quite nice activity. Seashells. All shells begin as simple shapes, and you add your inky embellishments, then they become pretty seaside trinkets. We've got conch shells and flat shells. I don't really know the different, you know, names for shells. Simple snail shell, I know that one. And then these are flourishes using that symmetry technique. She sketches one side, then uses tracing paper to mirror the artwork, and then you've got lovely little flourishes. We've got more seaweed here. So these are different patterns of seaweed that you can use to sort of float up from the bottom of an illustration, like this one here. You can complete this magical seascape and maybe even draw a scary sea monster and then colour it in. So this is a ship in a bottle, and this is really something that I want to try very soon. I've always loved ships in bottles. I don't know why, there's something aesthetically pleasing about it, and I can't wait to get in there and draw a ship and colour it in and make this look really glassy and realistic. So we've got some ribbon motifs here for the ocean, and you can use the step-by-step examples that we've just seen, the barnacles, the ships, the boats, the fish, all sorts of different things to fill in this ocean scene and add your own inky details. We've got a jellyfish here. Again, you can use your seaweed step-by-steps to create different tentacles on the jellyfish. We've then got a little, what is this, a lobster, of course it is, and you can add your own patterns and colours to bring him to life. We then move on to the third and final section of the book. This is the forest section. So here we've got falling leaves. So earlier on we had some leaves, now we've got different kinds of patterns. So it's not just that you've got a couple of, a handful of different leaves. We've got quite a few different ones here for you to practice with. You can fill this page with falling leaves and add your details to it before colouring. This page is wildflower stems. Again, with Johanna's 30 Days of Flowers, I think something it was called. A lot of these you'll recognise. So she's saying to bring these wildflowers to life with a splash of colour. You can use a botanical reference book if you want some colour palette inspiration, or you can just go wild and use whatever colours you want. Here are some leafy bugs. I really like these. It's almost like a scarab beetle. It's very heavily decorated, but it's with leaves and flowers. It's beautiful. Then you've got the dragonflies outline there that you can add flowers and foliage to. Mushrooms and toadstools. So we've got 4 different types of mushrooms here. You can see steps 1 to 4 with all of the different kinds at the top and the bottom, and then in the middle section you've got this peek into the forest, this little window that you can add your own mushrooms to. Forest finds, so these are little bits like the flotsam and jetsam, bits of things that you would find around the forest. So we've got berries, we've got acorns, lanterns. Is this a different type of acorn? I'm not really sure, something like that. And then this looks like a little clover. So it says, what lies at the heart of this enchanted forest design? Draw the focal point, then add colour and inky details to complete the illustration. So it's up to you what you're going to put in there. Then we've got vines, so how to draw long, long delicate vines with leaves on them, and maybe create an entire pattern. I think Johanna used this to create the maze in Enchanted Forest, I think, if you remember the maze made out of leaves. This is the ferns page, so we don't always have flowers and leaves. Sometimes we have lots of other different foliage like ferns and different grasses and things like that. Then we have borders, so you can see we have a simple square here. So maybe this is a colouring page that you've already worked on or you've just finished and you want to add your own border to it. This is how to do it. So showing you first of all how to frame it properly, and then all the different styles of borders that are really decorative and ornamental that you can add just to give your page an extra bit of oomph, a bit to make it unique. So we've then got trees, and again this incorporates the tracing paper symmetry skill. We've then got secret door, so you will have seen these in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and here is a secret door made completely out of flowers and leaves. We've then got the step-by-step for an owl, love owls, and you can add an owl into this sphere here that she's created. You could add an owl, you could add a fox, you could add anything you like, anything you're comfortable with. We've then got birds, which is another one that I tried out in my sketchbook, and 5 different birds to colour here and to try and draw. Here's the one that I drew, this little fat robin, really cute, really had fun doing it. We've then got the woodland garland, so it's a garland, but it's very woodland. No, it's very sort of embellished. It looks very autumnal, something that you would find maybe at Christmas time as well. I really love how she's put them together. I particularly love this one. It's very simple and they're crossed at the end. Really nice. And that is the end of the book. Then you have, of course, your test page to test your pens and pencils, front and back. Then you have the French flap with the pattern on the inside there, and that is the book. So it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's packed, isn't it? It's packed with so many different things for you to attempt. And this is just the baseline. This is just the foundation. This is the basic method, and you'll be able to create so many different types of patterns and flowers and leaves and all sorts of things as you become more comfortable and confident with the method. So paper wise, it's exactly the same paper as Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. It's very thick. Do the little ping, and it's kind of ivory toned. It has a beautiful tooth to it, so you can colour as well as draw, And yeah, there's nothing bad I can say about this book. It's, you know, as usual, anything from Johanna is always absolutely stunning and very, very well made. She's a lovely, lovely lady, and I just have to say another thank you to her really for bringing this book out and enabling us who feel like we don't have much artistic prowess to feel like we can you know, we can do it. We can create our own beautiful images and our own beautiful pieces. So again, links will be in the description for you to pre-order this. Depending on when you watch this video, it might already be out. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed looking through the book. I hope it has quelled your fears maybe about drawing and having the confidence and the ability to do it. As Johanna says, anybody can draw. It is a learned skill, not a born talent. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much for watching. Please do leave me a comment and thumbs up on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already and you're into this kind of thing. And I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.